So we're ready to get started. I'm sure a lot of you had a good meal. There's been some great conversation, but why don't you come on over and gather over here? We have a great panel. I'm gonna ask them to introduce themselves while we wait for you to gather. First, let's start with Raimundo. So I'll start from to the right of me, but we'll go left to right.
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Raimundo Rodulfo. I am the Chief Innovation Officer and Director of Innovation and Technology of City of Gables, this city.
Hi, everyone. I'm Justin Gammage. I'm the Director of Partnerships for the Frost Institute for Data Science and Computing. Nice to see all of you today.
Hello, my name is Minghui Chen. I'm an assistant professor at the Department of Civil and Architectural Engineering and the School of Architecture. I'm also affiliated with the Climate Resilience Academy. Nice to see you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Oumayma Moufid. I'm a Fulbright research scholar at the University of Miami. I am conducting research with Professor Sarbeswar we conducted research on the use of digital twin in sustainable urban planning and infrastructure management. Happy to be with you this evening.
Okay, so this is going to be a really cool and engaging conversation. We're going to do our best to share with you some of the expertise and the work that we are doing collectively to make some real impact in the community and in the different smart city sectors specific to digital twin, data, and AI. And we're going to be working together in this conversation to touch on these things and see how they're going to impact your life. So let's start with Justin, because we talked a lot about how important it is to bridge the gaps between different types of organizations. So before we even get to, like, the last panel was fantastic in talking about what AI is and how different people perceive AI. So I really want to sort of take it back and think about the implications of smart city AI, quality data, and how important it is that we begin to bridge the gaps and what you guys are doing to do that.
Yeah, thanks for that question. One of the things we're doing at the University of Miami is working closely with a number of our partners to deploy and develop new technologies that are going to be beneficial to smart city deployments, whether that be on a municipal roadway, whether it be within a community, whether it be at an airport, for example. So I think one of the big roles that universities play is to Anna's point, is to bridging the divide between what a company may sell you. And if you look up AI companies, everyone today seems to be an AI company. So there's some companies that really truly are doing machine learning and artificial intelligence. And we are a bit of an honest broker in terms of working with our partners to say, okay, you guys are working on this technology, and not all of the municipalities, for example, have the technical strength that Coral Gables does. So Coral Gables is kind of a gem in the smart city space because they have a depth of expertise and knowledge and understanding. But not everyone does have that, and so one of the roles we play is to help bridge that gap. Are there questions you may have that you may not be able to answer on your own, and that's where we can help, whether it be on validating the legitimacy of a technology that's pitched to you for deployment, or if there are questions about how to best manage data, how to protect that data, how to make sure that data is secure, and what are the most efficient ways to train on that data and analyze that data. So a lot of the people talk about this a little bit more, but there's a lot of opportunities for us to really be that honest broker between someone trying to sell you something and really vetting out what's really truly useful and helpful to the community.
Anyone else want to chime in on that, or do you want me to sort of jump into the next piece? So, okay, so you talk about Coral Gables and the work that they're doing. They have an incredible display back there. Definitely go and visit everything that you see here displayed. So many incredible things. I was starting to walk around and it's very exciting. Raimundo, understanding that I work in this big macrocosm of a county and you get to really do some meaningful things on a very large scale from the perspective of a city within the county. Can you talk about some of the projects that you're doing and how AI and bridging the gaps, and what Justin was talking about, and how he mentioned you, and sort of talk a little bit about what you're doing and the impact that it could have on the community for all other governments.
Thank you, Anna. So we have a great team, and I invite you to meet some of the members of my team there in our booth. And with the partnership with the county, the federal government, academia, with and other universities and the industry, we have been able to work on many projects to improve municipal services and improve quality of life in the areas that most impact our day-to-day lives. It can be public safety, mobility, traffic, transportation. It can be environmental sustainability, resiliency for emergency management. So applied AI, you find it in all those areas. And when I worked as an engineer in the telecommunications industry, many years ago, in the early 90s, we thought on AI in the sense of hyper-automation for efficiencies, for operations, to actuate on urban networks and telecommunication systems. Now, in the context of smart cities, I think about AI as augmented intelligence. So using tools to augment human intelligence, to help us with insight, with situational awareness, with meaningful data, to make better decisions, more informed decisions, or better connect with our constituents, with our residents, our visitors. So in the case of the city, I can tell you we have different projects that have different manifestations of AI. For example, we have human-computer interaction type of AI in our chatbots. So if you go to the Gables website, gables.com, or to the citizen request service system, or to the city's mobile app, or to the city's Smart City Hub platform, you will find ADA. ADA is our artificial intelligence digital assistant. Different personas of ADA are assisting our customers in all those different platforms. Find data, find tools, interact in a conversational way. And one of our software engineers recently was able to integrate ADA with large language models, with GPT models. So now ADA also have an augmented intelligence that is coming from those large language models that come from research or from academia or from other sources. But it's mostly the ontology of the city website, the city Smart City Hub, and all the services that we provide. You can ask ADA a question: how can I catch the trolley? How can I apply for the permit? So ADA is a concierge, and artificial intelligence concierge. But at the end, we also prompt the users to ask questions to a real person. So if they didn't find what they're looking for, ADA prompts them to talk to a real person. We always want that human-centric experience. So those are tools that augment our human intelligence on human-computer interaction and user experience. We also have artificial intelligence that has another type of manifestation, like in computer vision or automation of traffic data that we use, for example, in our CCTV network. We capture data through those video feeds that use computer models, so machine learning models to detect vehicle traffic, to help, for example, in many cases, to improve traffic by seeing patterns. So traffic engineers can use that data to improve traffic. So we have different uses of AI over the years. Most recently, AI-powered intelligent poles that combine all that edge analytics in one device and provide data for public safety or for traffic safety. So we have different manifestations of AI, and the best way to experience that as a customer and seeing the value that provides to the citizens is by visiting our booth, look at our digital twin and our Smart City Hub. All that is shared with the public. It's transparent, and those tools are helping us to provide a better service.
Okay, it's incredible the work they're doing, and I have FOMO and wish that I could be a part of that. So I wanted to have Minghui talk a little bit more about digital twin, and I don't know if you were going to talk and I interrupted you, so I'm sorry about that.
No, I just want to say that the Smart City Hub of the city of Gables is really fantastic.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I tried the software platform a couple times. So it's a truly digital twin where you can click some dots, and then you can see all those data. It's a very good tool to visualize things, visualize all this data, look at the, for example, look at the transportation. It's really helping people making better informed decisions.
Okay, so now talking about your digital twin work and your urban planning work, how can the work that you do as an academic help? And so we were talking about bridging the gaps. We're talking about different types of AI solutions that are out there. And you're doing some incredible digital twin and urban planning work, right? So can you talk a little bit about that and how that can help governments and other partners in really improving the services that we provide to residents in the community?
Well, thank you for the question. I also work on the digital twin. It's a little bit different from what Raimundo's doing. My work is more on the nerve system of the smart city. I did those uncertainty quantification and Bayesian networks. I don't want to go into too much details of the math, but it's how we use the data to make some reasonings to do optimization, and then how we can integrate this data and plot it along the time scale to make it something that can automate. I recently created a graph that can connect all the bridges, river gauges, and traffic count stations in Miami-Dade County to monitor the bridge risk. So it's not as fancy as the Smart City Hub. So mine is more like the back-end reasoning and algorithm stuff. But with those big data, we can reimagine our infrastructure. In the past, we do modeling that predict the future based on physics-based model and based on the past data. But right now, with in the era of big data, we can integrate all this data into our physics-based modeling to make it a digital twin to better simulate the current state and predict the future.
That is equally cool. You know, so when we get together and you get a bunch of techie people on a stage, we can really geek out. And I think that's actually really cool. And as the person that drives innovation in the county, that is invaluable to the kind of work that Raimundo and I both do. So, Oumayma, I don't want to leave you out because I think it's really important that you talk about the really incredible digital twin work that you're doing and the social equity work. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I'm also working on digital twin, but from the aspect of enhancing the participation of all the stakeholders around an urban project. And I'm working especially on a case study of an urban regeneration plan with a case study of a Moroccan neighborhood. And the project and the main goal of my project of this digital twin is to manage and allow all the stakeholders involved in this project to collaborate around this project and see and help them along the whole process of this urban regeneration plan. And also what is the asset of this digital twin is it can allow also citizens and local communities to be involved in the process. And because for me the collaboration is a main key of each project. And we cannot talk about sustainable and smart cities without involving all stakeholders and also the local community and citizens in the process of building new projects. Because citizens are the end users of each infrastructure project, and they know the issues and the needs of their urban spaces more than any other actor. So we need to involve them in the process. And digital twin and AI platforms is a good tool to get these people involved. Because first, when giving access to the citizens to these platforms, first we're gonna enhance awareness of the citizens about this project. They will know what's going on in their spaces, in their cities, and in their neighborhoods. And also we can provide visualization tools with these digital twins and AI platforms, with VR or with 3D digital model and etc. So citizens can see the urban scenarios of each project. They can also interact with this project, and we can also add some virtual portals in which we can solicit the feedbacks of this population about the project. And of course, urban planners should take these feedbacks into considerations before making this project and this urban plans official.
That is super cool. And we have actually a county employee here from RER. Is he still here? And I would love for you to meet him. He's an urban planner. He just started a year ago, and I think that work is so valuable and it's incredible. So anyways, let's now take it back to data and how important data is to everything that we're talking about. So I think, Justin, we had a great conversation when we were preparing for this panel about consistency of data and limitations when data is not great, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So any machine learning engineer or scientist that's working on a data science problem probably spends about 80% of their time working on managing the data, cleaning the data, making sure it's labeled correctly, and things of this nature. So the sooner and earlier on into the process you can get the data in the right format to be used, the more efficient the whole process is going to be. The keynote speaker today, who opened the day, talked about the importance of using synthetic data. And synthetic data you can generate through things like digital twins. And those are really important for data scarce environments or environments where you can't really get the real data. So if you look at earlier this week, there was a solar eclipse that went across most of North America, started in Mexico, exited in Canada. During that process, there was 40 gigawatts of power generation taken temporarily offline in a staged process. And energy grids hate surprises. So when you have this much power going on and off, and power coming on and off in a very unusual way, typically that's a recipe for real problems with the energy infrastructure. So the reason why we didn't have any major power shortages during the solar eclipse was because the power utilities were using digital twins and AI methodologies to simulate what was going to happen to their electrical grids during that eclipse, so they knew what to plan for, how to prepare it properly so it stayed reliable and up for everyone. And that work probably began 5 or 6 years ago. It just worked out that everything worked out great earlier this week. So if you can use that example of the importance and the relevance to all of us, that they generated this data through simulation, because none of the technology like solar farms were present or online in, I think 1978 was the last major solar eclipse across North America. So they had to create this data and simulate it based on the best physics-based model. So the importance of data is important right from the very get-go when you're collecting data and trying to label it properly, right to the point where you're actually simulating data to use in these very unusual circumstances.
Raimundo, do you want to talk a little bit about that and your projects like Oumayma and the impact of data to a project like that and mobility?
Yes, thank you. Oumayma is a good example on the importance of calibrating data models. So, Oumayma means autonomous intelligent assistant. It's a research and development project that we are doing in collaboration with the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory and of the U.S. Department of Energy, and with UC Berkeley, and with industry partners like Siemens, Unix, and TTS. So we are working, this is the second year of that research. The goal of Oumayma is optimize traffic and energy. And specifically, we have 3 test bed corridors in Gables. If you're familiar with Gables, it's Ponce de Leon, is Miracle Mile, and Alhambra Circle, which is our financial district corridor. So there we are testing this technology that uses data from connected and automated vehicles, or cabs. Basically, most of the vehicles today, commercial vehicles, OEMs, they are cabs. So they come with connectivity capabilities. And intelligent traffic signals. So the new generation of traffic signal controllers that are developed for this project and implemented throughout the county. By the way, the county is working on this project at a large scale to retrofit all those traffic controllers. So Gables, we were one of the first that was done as part of this project. And basically, those intelligent signal traffic controllers are connecting to a supercomputer that is managing what is called a differentiable predictive control model. Basically, it's controlling traffic based on data from the vehicle. It's called BSM, or basic safety messages from those connected vehicles. These messages about where they are they stopped, are they moving, and also safety messages from the vehicle. And data from our smart city sensors that we have throughout the city. We have traffic sensors and smart poles that are sensing about traffic density and counting vehicles too. So all that data is going to that model, and that model is the central intelligence that is considering the big picture of a large-scale traffic model, because traffic is maybe one of the most complex systems that you can imagine. So it's kind of like a water system. And when you alleviate traffic somewhere, you are creating a bigger problem somewhere else. So that intelligent model uses deep learning, which is an application of neural networks, artificial intelligence. They are combining the mathematics of traffic management, traffic model, with deep learning. And that is a research of PNNL, the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, that we are testing in Gables. So we are measuring data and calibrating those models with real data from real traffic, the vehicles that we are sensing. We are using our own electric and connected vehicles also for testing. All that data is being fed to those models. It's empirical data. Now they have enough intelligence in those systems that they can do predictive analytics of how the traffic is going to be managed by this system. I remember one of the presenters talking about synthetic data. So we have a little of that. We have a digital twin that is developed by one of the companies that is participating, by Aimson. That digital twin is modeling Gables traffic and is simulating all the scenarios. And a real situation is going to happen in 2026. You know what's happening in 2026? The World Cup. So we're going to have a lot of traffic going through Gables because FIFA, for example, the headquarters of FIFA is in Gables. We anticipate what's going to happen in 2026 when traffic from the airport in the Yun Road is going to be 3 or 4 times or more. They are expecting an impact similar to 6 Powerballs. And then to Super Bowls. I was thinking about lotto, you know.
Do you want to win the lotto?
maybe billions of dollars. Because 6 Super Bowls. And then, so you have 6 Super Bowls impact. Imagine how that affects traffic in a city. Yeah. And then, with a digital twin, we're going to simulate that. So that's the value of having a digital twin too. You can simulate those scenarios. So autonomía is a good example how synthetic data and predictive analytics and digital twins can help us simulate the worst case scenarios in an urban traffic, for example.
I find it so interesting, the work that we do as government innovators and the work that our academic partners do. And I find it very interesting that we need to find, I think it's very interesting that we work together to create those intersects of the work that you're doing. And we're talking about bridging the gaps, right? And so how else do you bridge the gaps, or how would you wish to bridge the gaps that governments would leverage more the incredible work that Oumayma and Minghui are talking about that they're doing here in the university? Justin. Putting you on the spot.
I was like, is that question for me? You know, and that's a great question. I think there's a real role that I kind of mentioned this earlier. We can play working with government organizations. One of the things that I think is going to be an increasing risk, especially for public institutions like the different governments, is this idea of as smart cities start deploying smart technologies, you're going to be working with a bunch of different vendors. And they're all going to potentially have different ways of generating data, likely creating different digital twins. And then you start to really wonder about, well, how are all these different systems going to be able to work together? Whether it's like you have data silos here, you have digital twins that can't work with each other. So you use the example of the World Cup. Miami-Dade might have a way to model the traffic patterns. The city of Coral Gables might have a different way. And if they're not able to communicate between those two twins or simulations of the environment, you really miss out on a huge opportunity. So I think that's where working together early with us, we have some ideas. We have some great talent that can be right there on the ground from the get-go to really help with that. So I think at a high level, that would be my first pick at that response.
I love that. So you'll be getting a call from me. Anyways, so Minghui and Oumayma, whichever wants to go first, think about the work that you're doing and listening to the incredible work that Raimundo is putting out with his team that's out here in the audience today. And how the work that you're doing, whether it's collecting feedback from the community and trying to drive and feedback and social equity and response, right, to ensure that we're building systems that are good for the people that are going to live there, or the actual back end digital twin engines that could drive the future. And think about how you would see yourself contributing to something like that. And I'm putting you guys on the spot because I'm just, I know that maybe we didn't discuss this question, but I think it's just a really cool dialogue and conversation that we could have because I think it's really important. And I don't know how technical the audience is here, but when Raimundo's talking, do you understand the complexity of some of the work that he's doing? Raise your hand. So everyone pretty much gets it. So I think it's really critical that we work together to make sure these things happen. So what do you guys think?
I would like to talk about the collaboration between all the actors, because collaboration is very interesting if we really want to identify best practices on how to use these digital technologies such as digital twin and AI platforms to ensure sustainable urban development. And for me, I can see four main actors in this collaboration, which are first the academic institutions, then the private sector, the public sectors, and also local communities and citizens. And really, if you want to think about this question, how to can collaborate together, we can think about what are the strengths of each actor and what it can provide to build and to contribute to this technological revolution. And from my perspective, I see that academic institutions have training capabilities and also can conduct research studies, which is very important in this. Private sector has expertise and has resources, and public sector and government has a lot of things, have funding, money, which is very important, can support with data sharing, also with public sector has real-world projects on which can work on. And also it has the power to build policies and regulations on how to use these digital technologies. And also local communities and citizens are mainly the end user of each infrastructure project, so they know the real needs of each urban project. So if you want to combine all these strengths, we can talk about collaboration around research and development, in which academic institutions can conduct research with students and PhD students on how to identify these best practices of use of digital twin and to build some standards on the use of this digital twin. We can also talk about a collaboration around policy development, because the government has a crucial role in building these policies. But when collaboration with private sector and the academic institutions, we can ensure that policies are informed by research findings and also by industry expertise, which is very important. And I also would like to talk about something very interesting in research, which is the data. Data is very important. And we need really to collaborate around building more open data initiatives and also some public and private partnerships to share data with academic institutions. And also, as I said, public sector has some real-world projects. And I would like, as a PhD student, to work on my research in a real-world project and collaborate with real-world stakeholders and also citizens to really know what are the challenges and to build my model and validate it with real-world data and with the collaboration of all the stakeholders.
That is a superstar and change maker right there of the future. So that's incredible. I'm sorry, Minghui?
Well, I'm more of a technical guy. I'm not a policy maker like you. I will speak from a more technical perspective. So, like Justin said, the power outage, they use the synthetic data. I use synthetic data a lot. I'm a structural engineer. I did lots of modeling of bridges, buildings, but for bridges, buildings, we don't have many sensors in it, so we use simulation data a lot to predict the future. And in transportation, like Raimundo, there are lots of good data, lots of, like Google Map collects lots of data, and the city has lots of data. So I know it's, from a technical perspective, I know it's a very difficult mathematical problem to combine the simulation and synthetic data with the real-world data. That's a very difficult problem because there are so much discrepancies between those simulation and synthetic data and the real-world data, because simulation and synthetic data follows a very consistent pattern, but for the real-world data, it does not. So I guess, like the keynote speaker today mentioned, the building that combines the uncertainty quantification with the sensors, we have to do like regression along the spatial dimensions and also along the temporal dimensions. This is a very difficult problem. As an academia, I did lots of research on, we do lots of math, coding, and we do lots of back-end works. But to really make something, a digital twin that can, a realistic thing that can really mirror the future, we need more real-world data to, so that we can develop better algorithms to marry the simulations and the, to marry the simulation and the real-world data. And with this development, we can better make, we can make a better digital twin. So that, like for example, we can better predict the traffic demand for the World Cup.
There you go. So we talk about the need for integrity of data, having really solid data. We talk about how the collaborative spirit can create major collective impact. We talk about bridging gaps and building models that can help us predict the future. And I think it's pretty reminiscent to what was spoken in the panel before us. And so I think it's really important that when we have these discussions, and I'm so grateful that these discussions happen on a regular basis, that we are able to really get to know each other in these networking opportunities so that we can do the things we're talking about. I think that's really, really important. I love that a partner in crime here, Raimundo, really puts his money where his mouth is and then shares it with everyone, right? And is an evangelist of modernization and digitization and really driving something new. And it's, to me, what an innovative public sector partner should be about. And my dream would be that we have 34 municipalities that would do that with us. So I think what I want to do now, because I think we're almost at time, is if anyone has any questions for this group, they're incredible, they're dynamic. We would also be available to talk to any one of you after this, because I think it is really important if you can connect all of the people that have spoken and share contact information with each other. That would be awesome. Evelyn, I'm looking at you. You're like, why? So does anyone have any questions out here in the audience for the group over here? I want to thank them, but I first want to see if anyone has a question.
I'll break the ice here. But moving to the left side of the panel, I would really like to know from any or all of you, what are your pain points in collaborating? So I think the collaboration is the key, stepping off. And then the question is, how can we step off? What is inhibiting you? What is your hurdle? How can we in the public sector help to alleviate that?
Oh, as a resident, I'm very happy that the city will not share any of the data. But as an academia, I really want that, the real world data. So I think for me, it's how when we form the collaboration, how we maintain the privacy of all the residents while that we can make scientific advancements.
Okay, I can. Well, for me, collaboration for me is like public sector can provide data for real-world projects. For example, I'm gonna talk about my research project. I work on a real Moroccan neighborhood, And I work with the National Agency of Urban Regeneration and Rehabilitation of Rundown Buildings in Morocco. So how I work with them is like they given me the data of the real urban regeneration plan in which I'm building my digital twin, and I collaborate with them so I can work with all the stakeholders they really work with. And I hope I can also like I'm building like this digital twin to connect all the citizens. And I wish I can also like work with real citizens, but I already work with the real agency and all the stakeholders involved in this process.
Can you talk a little bit about what we're seeing behind us?
This is my digital twin. Okay, as I said, my digital twin is like providing collaboration on the whole process of urban regeneration plan. And this screen, this is just a screen of one step of this process, in which like in this step, the urban regeneration plan is already like developed by urban developers, by urban planners. And here in this bottom, when you see your opinion matters, this bottom lead to a virtual portal in which we solicit the feedback and the opinions of all the stakeholders and also citizens to give feedback of this plan before it will be official.
Love it. Justin, you want to chime in?
I think that's fantastic work. But to answer your question too, I think one of the challenges I think I commonly encounter when I'm working with potential partners is the opportunities are so huge and so vast, and there's so many ideas. It's really difficult to define what the right first starting point is. So it's kind of developing a work plan or a statement of work turns out to be one of the more difficult things, just because there are so many opportunities. So that'd be, I guess, one of the pain points I think I experience is just getting down, starting somewhere, because it's an almost limitless set of opportunities you can explore.
Raimundo?
Well, I think that Anna and myself, we are advocates for collaboration. Collaborate a lot with academia, with industry, with partners in the community. So we love that, and that's what makes us able to do so much things. Sometimes in the case of Gables, with limited resources, that some people say, oh, how Gables is able to do all these different projects, and being a municipality of 52,000 residents is because of the collaboration that we get from University of Miami, a great partner, with the county, with the industry leaders, and research institutions like NIST. So we knock the doors of all those institutions, and they all are always willing to collaborate on this project. If it is for civic good, for quality of life, you find a lot of partners that are willing to help. And that augments our capacity, and I think that that's the model that we should continue and to advance in our country. Collaboration, or a triple helix model, government, academia, industry.
I love it. So are there any other questions? Because I know we have to wrap up. Another question over there.
So I have one question. So what is the ultimate goal, and how does all these research tie into the ultimate goal? I mean, obviously it's a vast opportunity in every industry, right? Everybody does their own research, everybody does their own focus. But what is the actual ultimate goal of a city? What is the actual ultimate goal of every research? And how does all this tie into one another?
Wow, that's a huge question. We can probably talk a couple of hours about that. Do you want to take that? Do you want me to talk? Do you want me to talk? Okay. All right. From a large scale, I think it's really hard that we, without insulting any one of us, me included, we all dream about that same thing together, right? We all want that same end state. And we all have different ways of getting there. We have incredible research projects. We have incredible academics. We have incredible public sector partners. We have incredible private sector actors that want to wholeheartedly really make an impact. And yet we're all disparate, right? We're all moving in different directions, trying to run towards something. So one of the things that we're going to be trying to do as a county, and it's part of the Mayor's Future Ready plan, and she is a proponent of collective impact, and that is Mayor Daniela Levin Cava, who I so proudly serve. Is that right? It's bringing together all of these fragmented paths and trying to create that cohesive collective work together, right? We started it with Miami-Dade.gov's open data portal, right, which anyone has access to, but we need to work on standardizing data and having quality data and creating data sharing agreements. That's like first and foremost to me, something that is massive, because there is no AI that will work without the right data. There is no private sector solution that's going to work correctly without the data. And there is no public service that we can provide without the correct and adequate data. I mean, that is at the root and the core. And so I think Justin was talking a little bit about data sharing and bridging the gaps and figuring that out. And so one of the charges that we have as a larger organization is to try to bring those 34 municipalities together. And I'm going to use, and I've talked to Raimundo about using him and a couple of other governments as the primary models so that the smaller governments understand and trust. Because I think one of the things that we lack as all organizations is trust in each other, right? And so in order to get to that end state without talking for 3 and 4 hours is really trust and data from my perspective. I don't know if anyone else wants to share.
Okay, I can answer. So the goal of all of this is mainly the title of this conference is to attend smart cities. And from my perspective, to attend the smart cities, we need to use these technologies, artificial intelligence, digital twin, and all these technologies. But we need to do something. From my perspective, we need to rely on collective intelligence to build artificial intelligence.
Wow. Wow. You want to say that again?
For me, we need to rely on collective intelligence, which include a lot of stakeholders, to build artificial intelligence.
So that's like a drop the mic moment. So we'll start with her as we close out this panel. If there's like an impactful drop the mic moment, not to compete with Oumayma, but that was pretty spectacular. I told you putting the 2 women at the ends would be really cool. Just some final thoughts or anything that you want to leave as a lasting impression for this group?
It's very difficult to top that collective intelligence. It's really difficult to achieve the collective intelligence. To make it everything automates. That's very difficult to achieve, and it's the goal.
Yeah, I agree. That's a tough act to follow. I do think as an academic institution, we really have a mandate to train the next generation of talent that is going to use these technologies to make the world better for everyone, for every part of society, make life easier, better, happier. So just and it sounds very philosophical, but I think that's really what we're trying to do.
CI is better than AI. So now we will continue our journey. If you tell me what are the goals are very simple. Cleaner air, cleaner water, better traffic, better quality of life, more economic opportunity for all.
So there you have it. I'm very, very grateful to have moderated this incredible panel. They have impressed me so greatly, and I have long-lasting friends here. So if you want to get in touch with me, I am Anna Chammas of Miami-Dade County, and we are here to help. And I can connect you with any one of these fantastic humans. Thank you.